Bonjour everyone, welcome back to another Diecast video. Today's episode is actually going to be a showcase of some older vintage diecasts. A little bit of a Playwear theme. Most of the cars you're about to see are either some thrift store finds, some cars from my youth, so on and so forth, basically. So we're talking about older diecasts from different brands that I'd like to share with you. All right, without further ado, we'll start off right away with a brand that is very present in my area in Eastern Canada, in Montreal. We're talking about Majorette. Majorette's been around for obviously decades and decades, specifically in Canada. Since we are French-speaking province and these cars were previously made in France. There's kind of like a specific relationship between the manufacturer and local retailers here. So yeah, let me go through a few of these with you. We'll start off with a fairly recent thrift store find. That's actually a car that I used to have in my youth. So we're talking about Ford Thunderbird. So it's fairly good nick. Not too many scrapes or dents or things like that. Got a few chips on the paint. As you can see, it's got metal base, metal body. We're talking about middle part that's part of the interior that's going to do that. That's going to make up for that red stripe that goes around the whole car. And it does have an opening hood as well. That shows the 5-liter carbureted V8. So we're talking about a model that this was produced by Ford. What I think, 1982. For 83 model year they started, and ran up until the facelifted version that came out in 86 for the 87 model year, if I'm not mistaken. So very nice casting details with the little Thunderbirds in the rear light. It's got a tow hook, as you can see. Here's your base. Shows 167 scale. It's number 217 Majorette line. And this one is not written made in France. However, be it made in France or not, definitely we're talking about a car that has its roots in the metal on metal France releases. Number 2. This one I never had as a kid. It's a little bit older. And we're talking about a model that I found in an antique store, actually. So we have it here. So this is the BMW 7 Series, again by Majorette. You'll notice different wheels on this one, indicating it's an older vintage. The 3-spoke wheels like this from Majorette are really more late 70s, early 80s. This is a BMW 7 Series. Here's your base. Here you go, so 733. Here you can see that made in France. Metal on metal, of course, and base is actually quite shiny still. Got a scale of 160, and this is number 256. So this one does have opening doors. Most Majorettes at the time did have opening features. Slightly tinted glass. Tow hook again. You've got the 733 on the rear deck lid. License plate. Rear lights are part of the glass assembly on this diecast. Nice BMW grille with the twin kidneys. And again, that license plate on the bottom of the bumper. Definitely tell the paint's chipping a lot more than the Thunderbird. But all in all, I mean, you've got the classic and patented Majorette suspension. Very nicely sprung, works fine, rolls well, despite the rusty axles. As you can see here, we do have some rust residue on the base because of the axles, but it's part of the patina to me. It's part of the charm. So, side note, I probably will be eventually restoring the paintwork on these or repainting them to stock color. Part of the plans in the future. I don't customize a whole lot right now, but it's definitely something I'm interested in. So we're gonna stay in the same brand. So another nice sedan from Majorette, Volvo 760 GLE, widely popular model. This one's actually plastic based. Very common in silver, very common in this blue-green. And again, you can see there's the same wheels as the Thunderbird, those 8-dot wheels. So definitely, again, some chipping, but considering this thing was released in the mid to late 80s, this specific version probably later on, maybe very early 90s. You know, it's in fairly good nick. Again, great roller, suspension, ample suspension travel, and the infamous tow hook on the back. License plate casting details are really good with the Volvo, the 760 on the back, GLE, and light details. Front lights are part of the glass portion. Sunroof on this one, just like the BMW as well. It's casted in. Opening doors. And cool thing is, steering wheel doesn't look like just a stump on this one. It actually looks pretty darn decent. So here's your base. If you'd like a little bit more details there. So again, no made in France, but we've got number 230. Scale is going to be 161st scale. Yeah, really cool model. I do love Volvos, so this one is definitely one that I didn't have as a kid that I was happy to find you know, later on. Again, this is a thrift store find. So let's see. Next is one I was pretty fortunate to find again in a Goodwill, thrift store, however you'd like to call it. It's this Pontiac Fiero, again by Majorette. This thing is not the we're talking about early 90s with the very wide wheels. If you look already at the base, you can see that the width of these big slicks here is quite notable, and it's something that Majorette was known for at the time. So again, made in France, 1/55th scale, number 206 Pontiac Fiero. Does have a wide body with wider arches that are noticeable from the top with those boxed fenders. Very popular in IMSA racing, Group 5. You know, very motorsport-esque. Got the number 42. A fade on the well, frunk pretty much, because the Fiero is a mid-engine car, so you've got that gradation from black to body color red. Same setup also, if we're talking about assembly, as the Thunderbird. So we've got that middle white line that's part of the interior, and also the rear deck lid here. Lower part is black plastic cladding that goes ahead and meets up with the base. Metal body on top. This thing is wide compared to the Volvo, but again, Volvo 160-ish, this one 155. So obviously it's going to look bigger. All right, let's see. Last Majorette I'm going to show you before we move on to something else is one that is definitely prized within my collection, and one that I was extremely surprised to find in this condition. We've got the Ferrari F40 by Majorette, with again those very big wheels. So we've got literally very big wheels. Proportions from the side are pretty impeccable, honestly. But as soon as you look underneath, you look at the side, the width. I mean, these wheels are wider than they are in. They're larger in width than they are in diameter, literally. So there you got Ferrari F40. No made in France on this one. Yeah, so number 280, 158 scale. So you'll notice the scale varies by model, simply because the way that these were scaled was not to respect a specific scale, but to respect the specific overall length to the vehicle. And obviously other manufacturers do this. Even Atomica in their main lines, they do exactly the same thing. They have a specific box, small collector box to fill, and they just go with a scale that fits that approximate 3-inch overall length. This one does have an opening rear to reveal the twin turbo V8. Obviously not super detailed, but hey. As you can see, there's rear lights that are part of the canopy glass, license plate. Not extremely detailed, but those three exits, big wing, couple little bites, flea bites on the rear wing, but overall super good condition. Again, this is probably from the early 90s, so very early 90s, so we're talking about something that's probably going to be 30 years old. Very big Ferrari logo, black interior, metal on metal. This one also has a little bit of suspension, but obviously the lower the vehicle, the less suspension travel you're going to have. And Majorette did phase out the suspension pretty much as a whole gradually as time went by, and cars were not as detailed, just like any other brand. Hot Wheels as well, same thing. You know, Xing out opening parts, going from metal base to plastic base, cost cutting, you know, measures to keep the cars pretty much costing the same retail as time goes by and the decades roll on. All right, I'm gonna move on here. Change manufacturers, change it up a little bit, stay in the same more or less car manufacturer, but different take, different country of origin, different country of manufacturer as well. So we're gonna move on to Ertl, company that still produces diecast today, more in the farming equipment, work trucks, things like that, and less passenger cars. They were extremely big in the 80s. So this specific one is a childhood car. You got the 246 Dino 246 GT hardtop coupe. Not the GTS with the Targa top there. So you know, these are the typical Ertl wheels from the 80s. Definitely got some Playwear, because I did play with it as a kid. It was one of my favorite cars, but it is intact, the glass in good shape, opening rear engine lid with a few details of that Dino V6 2.4 liter. Nice amount of suspension, again, nice amount of travel there, tilt, and still works perfectly, rolls very well. Metal base again on this one. I'll show you the base. So you'll notice there's no year of manufacture, but this is like early 80s. And this specific car, this Dino, actually was a car that had stickers on the front, Cannonball Run stickers actually. Yeah, it was a Cannonball Run special car. I mean, they did Smokey and the Bandit. There was also a Mustang, the 73 Mach 1 Mustang also that was part of that set that I did have at one time, but that I don't have anymore. So yeah, those two had fun racing them together. And yeah, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Brock Yates actually did use a Dino in one of his Cannonball runs in the late 70s, early 80s. Alright, I'll go ahead and show you another manufacturer here. A little bit something that's also different. Another antique store find. So we are looking at this beauty right here. So this is a Mercedes SL with the hardtop, and this is by Corgi. This thing is literally in mint condition. There's not a flea bite, no paint missing whatsoever. Silver detailing on the front still there. Opening doors. Nice interior, nice steering wheel. Well molded. Again, tow hook. All the rage in the 80s, but I don't know what you'd pull with an SL, honestly. So here's the base. So 500 SL, which means it's the V8 version of this car. Made in England. Great Britain. Plastic base, metal body. Again, sprung suspension. Well, a little bit of suspension, but not a whole lot, honestly. It's not a car that or a brand that has a lot of suspension on their cars, but this is definitely a good one. I really like that one. All right, so next we're gonna go with a vintage Matchbox Superfast. We are looking at this nice Tommaso Pantera, extremely popular model when it was released. This is a 1975 casting or copyright in 1975. Lesney products, made in England. Yeah, so Italian car. Big Ford V8. Proportions from the sides are great. Different size wheels and also different style wheels, front and back. And this was the release colors. There were stickers at one time on the roof and front, but again, mid-engine car, so there's no engine under here. Technically, it's under here. Hence this kind of like vented rear bonnet. Metal body, metal base, nice casting details. Here you can still see a little bit of residue as well from where there was a sticker with a number, a race number on there. Quad exhaust. This one's from my youth, so it's had some playtime, but I didn't like the stickers on cars, so I used to remove them by default. Pretty much. California license plate. Pretty cool details. That beige brown rear hood is part of the interior, and yeah, the good old 3 rivet base there. It's fairly good condition, you know, paint's mostly there. It's not beat up, the glass isn't cracked, you know, it's in good condition for something that's 45 years old, give or take, so not bad at all. Next one I have is actually a fairly recent find. It's again part of the same wave of vehicles as the Tommaso. This is a Monteverde 450 high. So this originally came out in orange under Monteverde. I'm assuming something happened with the licensing, because after a while it actually just got renamed the Rally Royale on future releases, including this one. This is the second color wave, if I'm not mistaken, for this model. And despite it having lost the Monteverde moniker on the base, if you look at the rear, the Monteverde is still cast into that rear bumper, as is license plate and the two tiny rear lights. As you saw, opening doors. Paint's definitely not in the best condition, but it's quite acceptable for this model that was actually licensed basically in '73. This specific version probably came out 3-4 years after the initial orange release. It's a little bit more popular. Let's see, what else could I say about this one? Well, obviously Monteverde is a actually a manufacturer from Switzerland that had a brief run of cars. 4-5 different models, participation in F1 at a certain point. Yeah, it's a very small manufacturer basically. Luxury sports coupes were something they wanted to do in the very high-end market at the time, in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s. Similar to what the Tommaso was doing, but much more luxury, and again using American V8 power under the hood. Quite prolific at the time, these Italo-American crossbreeds. Alright, so I'm going to show you another Matchbox. This one goes back very far though. Very, very far. Well, a little bit further actually. This would be Matchbox again. Lesney car, but this was in the first years of Superfast. This is a Porsche 910. This one was a Goodwill find, and I was extremely surprised by the condition of this thing. I'll let you be the better judge of if what I'm saying is true. A little bit of a little stain there. I just want to remove. There we go. Perfect. Literally, this thing is mint. The only parts that I've found where you could fault the paint would be a tiny flea bite right above my thumb. Show you the base while I'm at it, eh? Even the base is not tarnished to a level that is undesirable. Oh, see, I still got a little bit of that. I do apologize there. I really want to remove as much gunk as possible off this. A little bit of gunk on the back of this car. There we go. Sorry about that. There we go. Nice and clean. You know, a few little details around that passenger side rear light, where casting is not perfect. Tiny little factory paint defect on the lip of that spoiler. But besides that, I mean, the thing is perfect. So literally one flea bite, and the rest of things that are not perfect are really factory. Even the wheels are super nice and chromed. These are fast rolling plastic wheels, metal base, metal body. This is really the first year release, or the first, I'd say within the first two years of release. So 1970 copyright, and this specific version with the fairly clear windows was really part of the first wave of this model. So max 1972. All right, I think this has been running for a little bit, so I'll show you one last one. And this is going to be one of the oldest diecast that I have in my collection. We're talking about this little guy here. So this is a Volkswagen T1. Again, this is a Lesney Matchbox, and this is the old school 60s classic wheels there, the traditional wheels that are on here. Made in England by Lesney. Not a huge amount of details, but you know, this thing, for being give or take 50 to 60 years old, it's got almost all its paint. It did not come in an original box. This is also a thrift store find. Stickers are there, both sides intact, slightly yellowed. Most of the paint's there. I mean, on the roof you've got some flea bites, but I mean the side of the body, you know, it's just with the trim pieces that you're missing a little bit. Gray wheels, of course. Same pattern on the rear. Front, you still have a little bit of paint on that VW emblem. But all in all, it's in really good nick. Now, these did not come with windshields or interiors, so you can literally see right through the thing. But I think I find it's part of its charm. And these are metal on metal. The only part that's not metal, literally, are the wheels that are seem to be more of a very hard rubber than actual plastic. So such a great great noise when it rolls around as well. Definitely not its preferred material to roll on, but that's the last one I wanted to show you. Yeah, so this is basically from the early 60s. So that pretty much does it. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if you want further information about any of these, more specific, that I could get back to you and look up, as opposed to you know, trying to really just wing it and go with what I know off the top of my head. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Don't hesitate to let me know if you have suggestions on specific car manufacturer, specific diecast manufacturer you'd like to see more of. I probably do have it in my collection, so don't be shy. Yeah, if you like this video, press that like button. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, that'll do it for today. Hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day and this video. And until the next one, bye-bye.